All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back for another Wednesday session. Today, we're going to be doing live agent calls, agent outreach, structuring deals, thinking about deals as an investor. And so, if you have deals, bring them up, put them in the comments. We'll go over some deals together. So, it's gonna be a really fun day. So, last week we went and we called a bunch of agents. We started just working through the process. And I think out loud as I call these agents, how we're structuring it, how we're thinking about deals, how we're communicating with the agents, and how we're making ourselves stand out from all the rest of the noise. Because all these agents are experiencing so much noise. They're experiencing people talking to them all the time, calling them all the time. People from California calling people in Kansas to try to do deals. They never set foot in the actual towns. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still do deals in that way. But there's a lot of ways to make yourself stand out from the crowd. And that's one of the biggest things that we're focused on here. So before we get started, I'll let you guys know a little bit of who I am and how you guys can get in touch with all the things that I am working on. So my name is Philip Loudon. I primarily focus on wraps and lease options in Kansas City. We start off as wholesalers. We've done over 200 transactions. We've done over 60 wraparound mortgages, lease option deals, contract for deeds in the Kansas City metro. I'm the founder of Wrap Academy, where we teach people to start holding onto properties, doing lease options, doing wraps, so you can create your first $10,000 per month of passive residual income. Some ways to get in touch. We have a school community here. Inside here, we have the classroom. We have a few really cool things you can go through. If you haven't already done the foundation, this is a really good way to kind of pitch your vision and see what it is that what your actual goal is. On YouTube, I have tons of videos. So we're getting close to 200 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube, pop in. There's tons of resources here, videos about wraps, lease options, different types of deals, deal breakdowns, tons of lives here that we've done over time. So lots of information and way for you guys to tap in. My goal with these calls is to help people to get to your first deals, right? And to really succeed as a real estate investor, you need to understand different types of exit strategies and different types of ways that we acquire deals. So my whole focus here is really bringing you guys through how I think about deals and how we can structure deals to make them work. Right. So many different ways to structure a deal. And once you have a good deal structured, you can wholesale that deal. You can keep it yourself. There's so many ways to make money with a good deal. So we're all about finding the deals, structuring them, and talking to the agents to get deals locked in. So welcome, everybody. I see more and more people coming in. So in the comments, let us know who you are. Let us know where you're located. If you have deals that you want to go over, put them in the comments as well, and we can do some live deals. I can call some agents, call some of your sellers, whatever you guys have available. So let us know in the comments who you are, where you are, and what your experience is in real estate, so we can know how to best serve you guys. So once again, my goal here is to help you guys understand how I think about deals, because how I've thought about deals over time has evolved. When I was wholesaling, I was thinking as a wholesaler. As a wholesaler, I was just thinking about how can I make money on a quick flip with one of these deals. As I started evolving and doing buy and hold deals, how I thought about deals has evolved, right? Now I think about deals, what is the most appropriate exit strategy for this type of deal? And how can I structure it so that it's a win for the seller and also makes sense for an end buyer and makes sense for myself as a deal. So we have a lot of bird dogs in here. We also have a lot of people that are buying deals. So connect with each other, squad up, communicate, talk to each other, and then let's go ahead and look at a bunch of different deals. All right. So if you have deals, put them in the comments. If not, I'm just going to walk you through my process, and you guys can listen as I call some agents and talk to people and just be vocal, ask questions. The ones who have the most success are always the ones who are making the most noise and asking the most questions. I shouldn't say always, because it's not always how it is. That's how I operate. I like to ask a lot of questions. I like to tap into my resources. So join. This is how we have fun and structure deals. I love structuring deals. All right. So let's go into my propstream. So last week we built out an agent outreach spreadsheet. It's a very basic CRM that I'm using to stay on top of people. So we have the addresses, any notes that we have here. So this one, for example, we talked to last week. We can go and call them again, and then we'll go ahead and just look for properties on propstream. So as I go into my filters, I'm going to go down. I'm looking at on market deals, for sale, active. Minimum days on market, let's say 50. We'll go into the value and equity. We'll do estimated equity under 10%. So a maximum of 10%. And then we'll look in Kansas City. And then we'll start taking a look at some of our properties. Another filter I'm going to have, I really like affordable housing, especially in the Midwest. So the maximum list price should be in value, estimated value. Let's do a max of 250. And now we're down to 140 properties. All right. So I'm looking at the loan balance as it compares to the actual list price. I also like properties that have at least 3 bedrooms. Let's add that in as well. We'll do properties that have 2 bedrooms, but we have an abundance of properties here, so I might as well look at ones that I really like. Okay, so one of the great things about the Midwest and yeah, mostly the Midwest and the Sun Belt as well, is there's so much affordable housing with high rental rates. So this is why people love investing in the Midwest, is because you have these low property values and then you have high market rents, right? And we really like that. So this one right here looks pretty underwater, and it was sold 2 years ago. So let's take a look at this one. Put any thoughts and things in the comments as well. If you have deals, once again, bring them to the table, or else keep doing deals like this. Okay, cool. So nice little property, not many photos on. Let's see what the description says. Back on market. So you can see whoever this agent is not doing a very good job. And they have, this isn't formatted in the right way. There's 2 photos up here. So this could be a good property. There's 147 days on market. So let's call Sean Foster. Okay. And the first thing I do before I really do much is I just call the people. I want to just talk to someone before I spend any time underwriting. No sound, no sound. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Okay, can't hear me, no sound. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, amazing. Okay, cool. I called that agent. It was okay. There's an echo. Yeah, let me see if I can fix mine. Okay, is there still an echo? All right, let me know if the audio is better. I do see that we have Jenna has some deals that has a seller open to creative. So if you want to throw that information in the comments, I'd be happy to call those agents or those sellers as well. Um, Money Magnet is asking my definition of affordable housing. So for me, affordable housing is, I mean, it really depends on where you live, right? So it's really hard to say. I love the Midwest because the prices are around $250,000 and the market rents are 1,900, 1,800, 1,700, which is really nice. Okay, sound is good. Okay, amazing. Thank you. All right, so let's continue and looking through some of these prop stream leads. Okay, so this one's another one on Wayne Avenue. Estimated equity of 155. List price is 167,500. I think I may have called this one last week. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So I can follow up with her a little bit later. Here's another one on Jackson Avenue. Yeah, and there's tons of ways to reach out to agents as well. Like we have, if you go on my YouTube, there's a video with an LOI blaster where I talk about using an LOI blaster. It's just a way to send out offers to tons of people. It's a good thing for lead gen. Okay, so this person is 68 days on market. Just had a $10,000 price cut about a little bit over a month ago. Not the best house in the world. You can see why it's probably not selling. There's so much gold sitting on market right now. There's like so much sitting on market right now. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully my audio continues working. Remodeled. Okay. Michelle Garcia. Let me know if you guys can hear the phone ringing also.
Thank you for calling. You have reached Michelle Garcia with the Tina team and Keller Williams Realty Partners. I am not available to take your call right now, so please leave a message and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Thanks so much. Have a great day. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Michelle, this is Philip. I was calling about the house I have a listing on Jackson Avenue. I just had a few questions. I'm interested. You can give me a call back at 913-270-9177. Okay, thank you. All right, so we always do what we call the triple threat. You call them, you leave a voicemail, and okay, great. And then we also will send them over a text message. As I mentioned last week, I like to have everything as automated as possible. I will put a text replacement in my computer so I can just put agent 1, and that will automatically send over my text script. I know you guys can't see my online phone. So this is a follow-up message, and then if I put agent 2, so the first person I called, it was listed as a short sale. And because it was listed as a short sale, he's not interested in anything creative, which I should have seen that in the actual description. So that was on me. All right. So I sent her a text message and on to the next one. So I can add this to my spreadsheet also. And one of the biggest things with any sort of seller deals is it's all about the follow-up. It's always about the follow-up. So they're oftentimes you're going to get told no off the bat, which is totally fine. And we expect to hear no, and then we keep following up with them. Okay, another property. What I see on this one is pretty similar. $180,000 loan balance and $185,000 deal. Okay, $5,000 price cut, won't last long. Okay, amazing. Cool. Let's go ahead and call Ahmad. Yeah, and if anyone has deals they want me to look at, we can also do some underwriting. But I'm not going to underwrite these deals until I've talked to the agent and get some level of interest because I'm operating to try to make my time use as efficient as possible. Hello? Hey, Jenna, send some details of that deal and we can underwrite it together.
Hello?
Hey, is this Ahmad?
Who's this?
This is Philip. I'm looking at this property on East 90th Terrace.
Yes,
Is this one still available?
still available, yes.
Okay, amazing. Okay, cool. Yeah, I had a few questions about it. Yeah, what can you tell me about it? I see it's kind of looking in as-is condition.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, what's the situation? Is it does it need any major repairs?
No. So the seller is moving to Lee Summit
Okay.
for the school for the kids, and he just looking to sell this one so he can buy another house in Lee Summit.
Okay. So the seller's
Yeah.
moving to Lee Summit. Okay. And do they already have the other property secured?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm an investor in the area. We've done over over 60 houses in Kansas City. And so I'm interested in this one. We like this area. And I just wanted to see, yeah, just a little bit more about the situation. I see it's been sitting for a little bit. It sounds like the seller's already moved. And I also saw you guys did a bit of a price drop. So can you tell me just a little bit more?
I think that's the lowest they can go.
That's the lowest they can go.
Maybe 180, but I don't think they can go lower than that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can always do a cash offer, but I'm not totally sure if I'm going to be your buyer. Because like for cash, we can do cash, but as an investor, I need to be able to build some equity into it one way or another. Um, I'm sure you've had like a million people reach out to you about creative deal structuring. Have you talked to them about doing anything creative?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Not interested?
No,
Okay. What's the reason they're not interested?
the owner needs the money for the down payment for the new house.
Okay. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear you.
The seller needs the money from this house as a down payment for the new house.
Gotcha. Okay. How much do they need as a for a down payment?
I can't reveal that information, but they need to sell this house at that price
Okay.
for
They
them
need,
to buy the house, the other house.
gotcha. Okay. Have you ever done any creative deals before?
But I did before, yes.
Okay. Like a subject to or like seller financing?
Both of them,
Okay. So you're comfortable with the process.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, usually if the seller like needs to sell and they're willing to get creative, we can usually figure out a way to structure things to like make it work. But I mean, if they're not open to it. I understand that, but you know, we do buy a lot of houses in this way. So if they are open to something more creative, that they need the down payment to go into their new property, you know, we do have ways that we can get them money in their pocket for that down payment and still be able to take over their mortgage.
Well, you got my email the same way you can get my email the same way you got my phone number. Shoot me an email and I'll present to the seller.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna do a full offer unless I know they're like, open to it. Because I'm buying one more house this month. You know, so I don't buy like a million houses. I'm just buying one more this month, and there's like a bunch of properties sitting on market. So I am open to it. I need a little bit more information. Like I need to know, you know, what is their mortgage? How much money do they need? Because I need that information to be able to really structure a good creative deal.
I really don't have that information. Neither the seller is willing to share that information, but I can tell you they need to sell at that price.
Okay. Is their mortgage?
So if you can do have, I mean, I think it's the only way we can do it. You know, it's just regular resale.
Gotcha. What if we took over their mortgage, got them money in their pocket, and still got you paid as an agent?
I get what you are saying, but how are you going to get them the money in their pocket and take care of their mortgage and get me paid without paying that price for the property?
Well, we could pay that price, but we could take over their mortgage.
You can take over the mortgage
Yeah.
and pay how much, let's say, to their pocket.
Well, this depends on how much their mortgage is, right? I don't know. There's variables here that I don't have information to right now. So without having that information, I can't tell you exactly. Because if their mortgage is
Look,
160,
let's say they have 100,000 left on their mortgage.
okay, yeah, if they have 100,000 left on their mortgage, they have pretty significant equity.
Yeah, like let's say they have 100,000 in their mortgage. How much money are you going to put in their pocket?
Well, it depends on how much they. I mean, these are all variables we play with, right? So like how much it depends on how much they need to bring as a down payment, and it depends on what price I get the property for. Because you know I can give certain things and take certain things. You know, there's so many ways to structure it. And we've done deals before where we've taken over the mortgage, we've had the seller finance us a small amount, and then we paid them the rest out at closing. So it really depends. There's like so many different ways to structure these deals.
Well, I just gave you the information you need.
Okay, so they have $100,000 left on their mortgage, and do you know what their interest rate is?
I mean, they've been in the house for like 9 years, so it's whatever I think it's about the 4%.
Okay. Okay. And so they would probably be netting somewhere around 60,000. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Okay, so they would need 60,000 in their pocket. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. So we could bring 60,000 down and take over their mortgage, they'd be open to that.
So you take care of their mortgage, give them 60 in their pocket, and then pay me.
And pay you on top of that?
Yeah, because that's at 160.
Okay, so it's 160, and then you would get your 3% as well. Okay, let me think about it. I mean, do you think this is something they would be open to if we could figure something out?
No, what you are, exactly what you said. You said you're going to take over the mortgage, 60 in their pocket. But you said you're going to pay me, or I get paid.
So you would
How
get
am I supposed to get paid?
well, you would get your money also. This is what we have to figure out, right? Now that I have the variables and I understand the variables, I can like talk about with my team and start playing around the numbers a little bit and see if we can make something make sense.
Well, okay. Well, you got my email.
Okay.
Shoot me an email with whatever question.
Cool. I'll just give you a call back. I'm going to think about my team, go over the numbers, and kind of see if there's a way that we can make it work.
The email works best for me.
Okay.
So that way I have something I can tell my client.
Gotcha.
Besides that, I'm not going to even discuss it with him.
Okay. Have you discussed anything like this with him before? Just before I go and like spend an hour or two, like?
Yes.
Okay.
We got a couple offers with owner finance and other stuff, but unless I have something in my email that I can show him, or I can like formally tell him like this is what we got, I ain't gonna present anything for him.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to waste a bunch of my time like doing the underwriting if they're not open to it. But if they're open to it, I can put pen to paper and see what we can figure out. I mean, they have a decent amount of equity, so 60,000 down might kill the deal, but I can think about it and see what I can come up with.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much. I'll follow up with you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay. Okay, cool. I hope you guys could hear that one. Okay, nice. We'll call this person back. Could you guys hear that call? Thumbs up. What's up, Cabo? So cool. That was an interesting one, right? So they actually had more equity than I thought they had. I was thinking they had about 5,000 or 10,000 equity. It turns out that they have. Make sure you guys can hear me. Sorry. Okay, cool. So now they have 60,000 equity, right? Which makes the deal a little bit more challenging because if we're going to bring 60,000, he's going to need 6,000. That'd be a 166,000 purchase price, 60,000 entry fee. And they need that 60,000 down. So this is a good enough one to play around with the numbers, right? Like he was receptive, he was open. There's a few things that I did in the call just to understand what his situation was. Like, for example, I asked him if he's ever done a creative deal before because he seemed pretty closed off to the idea. And everyone says that, there's so many people doing creative deals. How do I get through? Everyone's doing creative deals. That's actually a benefit, right? Because a lot of these people now they already know what he's already done creative deals before. So like all the work of educating agents about how to do creative deals, they've already done one before. We don't need to go through all that work of educating them. So let's take a look and see if we can come up with ideas together about how we could potentially make this work. And then after that, we can go over your deal, Jenna, and take a look at it. So first we'll do this one, and then we'll go over your deal, Jenna. Do you guys have any thoughts on that call? I don't know if you could hear him that well. It was a little bit muffled. But I'm going to go ahead and start adding this to my spreadsheet. So let's grab that property information again. And so this, someone asked what the criteria was. And so the criteria I had was super basic: on market, listed for over 50 days, under $250,000 value. What else? In Kansas City, 3 beds plus, less than 10% equity. So this one had more than 10% equity, but I don't know how. Yeah, this is incorrect. It's not always going to be 100% correct. Okay, cool. So this guy, let's put our notes down. I would say this is a warm lead. Open to idea, has mortgage of 100,000 at 4%. needs 60K down plus agent commission. And once again, like everything's in the follow-up, right? Because if they had less equity, then you just keep following up, because like the longer houses stay on market, if they're not motivated to do anything creative right now, like give it 30 more days on market. Like right now we are in a buyer's market. So our creativity can get us so far right now. Okay, so let's take a look at this deal. I'll put it into my underwriting tool. Come on, okay. Okay, so current market value, let's clean up a little bit. I have an ADHD brain, so my tabs always go to infinity. All right. Okay, cool. So 185 is probably worth 170. So first thing we're going to look up is the market rents. I'm doing a quick and dirty analysis here, right? And when I do these deals, I'm fine with doing quick and dirty as I'm starting to craft offers. So market rents in the area around 1,400. Let's find the tax. Find on Zillow. 2160. Insurance is probably around that 110. Underlying financing is 100 at 21 years remaining at 4%. So the PITI of that is going to be around 877. They want 185 worth 66,000 down plus closing costs. So let's say it's probably going to be around 166. So this is, he needs his commission plus he wants 60,000 down. Mortgage is 100. So if we were to go and do that, let's see what I can sell for. I'm going to analyze this as a wrap or lease option because that's what we specialize in, and that's what would make the most sense for this deal. Questions, comments, put them in the comments. I'll circle back around to them. So for this, it's worth about 175. On a lease option or wrap, we can sell slightly above market value. Okay. So this is what we would sell the property for on a wrap or lease option. How I'm breaking this down is this is about 15% over the market value, 10% down, 9% interest, and that leads us to about $1,800 per month. Market rents are about $1,400. So for me in my market, I know that these numbers are about what we could sell for on a wrap. And to bring in that $66,000 down, we would want to do that through private capital. Because if we look just here, and please ask questions in the comments. Like, let me know if you're following, if you're not following. Like, the more questions we ask, the more like we can internalize this process. So on the cash flow side, it would cash flow about 854 if we just got it for $100,000, right? And then that would make a good amount of money with that upfront net. That upfront that we are receiving is too negative. So one way we can structure this, and put your ideas about how we can structure this in the comments also, because this is an active game of problem solving. And once again, like not my favorite deal, right? They have too much equity, like they need the cash up front. The only way to do this would be to bring a private money partner or a limited partner into this deal who could bring the cash and you split the deals together. So say that we raised 70,000 of private capital at 10% interest, and they stayed in that deal for the entire life of the deal with us. That would mean that we'd be getting that $20,000 out to ourselves. We'd be getting paid $20,000, and we'd be paying them 10% interest amortized over 30 years. So we'd be paying that private lender $614 per month for a $70,000 loan. Could this work? Now we're looking back into profits. So how I make money at the beginning is we'd be putting 66,000 down. I'd be getting 70,000 after closing cost. I'd be about break even on this. And then that down payment we'd be keeping in our pocket, right? So if we kept that down payment in our pocket, we'd be making, $19,000 up front, minus any holding costs we have. And then the cash flow would be $239 per month after we pay that private money lender their amount. Could that work? Yeah, it could work. It's not my favorite deal in the world. I'm going to circle back to you guys for questions because this was fun. Okay, let's see what questions we have. Why did you put the purchase price of 166 and not 185? So I was making the assumption that because he said they need 60,000 in their pocket, plus he needs his commission, which is going to be about 3%. So I put it about $6,000. That would be a total purchase price of 166. So that's the reason I did the 166 and not the 185. Okay. Any other questions? Are people following? Does this stuff make sense? Because what we're doing is we're moving the pieces around, right? So there's so many ways to structure deals. There's more methods which we can go deeper into on a different call. There's straight sub twos or sub two hybrids. This is one where they need a significant amount of money in their pocket for a reasonable reason, which is they need it as the down payment on their next house. Do they really need 60,000 for that? Probably not. So we can start playing around with the numbers a little bit, but this gives me enough to make a blanket offer. But I'd have to bring private capital in, and because it's such a significant amount of private capital, how I would structure it is I'd bring that private capital in, I would have them be a partner on the deal. We'd either split the cash flow 50-50, or I'd give them 10% returns, then they get some sort of equity upside whenever it's sold or refinanced. So there's different ways to structure to make it appealing for the private lender also. We'll go back to the deal as well, so I can walk you through more ways that we can structure this. Because how we're structuring it right now, it would mean that if we put, 70,000 of private capital, 70,000 of private capital, we'd be making some money upfront from that down payment. So most of our money would be made upfront, and then we have a small amount of cash flow and a little bit of equity remaining after that down payment. The equity is going to be that 179 and 100 is what we are owed, and then we owe 170. So there's 9,100 of equity left. So that's one way to structure it with a private money partner. Is the juice worth the squeeze? It's, for me on this one, no, there's too many moving parts. It's not my favorite deal in the world. But still, if we're practicing making offers, I would still make an offer and follow up. I'd probably offer him 40,000 down. So we can see, now we can start playing around the number to see what would work. Another option is we can get 60,000 down, or 60,000 in private capital. Then our cash flow goes up a little bit more. Our equity goes up a little bit more. Still not the most beautiful deal. There's so many moving parts on this one that, we need to find a buyer still. And this to me is not worth the effort. It's just, there's too many things going against it. We can probably sell this property for a little bit higher. I'd have to run some more in-depth comps. But I do like the property. I feel confident in those numbers I just put out. It does need, the kitchen is not that beautiful. So it has a nice backyard, which is good. The kitchen definitely needs some updates, especially those cabinets need to be at least on the other picture. Yeah. That'd probably be our only option. There's no other option I see that I really love with this deal. It does have that basement. Okay. So I would go ahead and make an offer. I'd probably offer on this one a purchase price of 160, or we can do several offers. You can offer 180. Let's see, 160 with 60,000 down plus the agent commissions. Yeah, that's probably the best that we could do. Don't love it. Anyone else have any ideas of how they would structure this? This for me is about the offer I would give. So is it a deal? Not really, but I'll still make the offer and kind of see what they say, at least start a conversation. Okay. Cool. Nice. Money Magnet has got some more questions. So would you use the down payment to pay down the PML? That's an option. So one option would be to use that down payment to pay down the private money lender. And we can look at that really quick. So if we got 20,000 down, we could pay off that private money lender. So that would be 150 plus 20, that's 170. We need to factor in holding costs and carrying costs. So we still need about 55,000. And ideally we want to get paid a little bit on the front as well. So even add that, you can start to see like the cash flow is okay. Then you only have 60,000 in with private capital. You're still going to make 160 versus 186. $160, and then we have 179 here. You'll still get a little bit of money up front, and the numbers are okay. Like it's not like the worst deal in the world. It's just if I'm going to bring $60,000 of private capital in, like is this the deal to do it on? It's an as-is property. The price points are okay. The area is okay. The property's okay. It's just if I was going to, yeah, it's just yes. The answer is yes, you could. Okay. Okay, awesome. Let me know if this is helpful and that this is valuable for you guys. All right. Next property. Jenna Connell has a property with a loan balance of $272,000. Can you give me the zip code of the property and the bedroom and bathroom count? Okay, 4 beds, 3 baths, 6.8% interest. So one of the first things we want to look at is going to be market rents, right? Also, Open to Creative will want 90,000 down. Also a very similar deal, right? They want 90,000 down. You'd have to bring a private lender in there. And will the deal still cash flow if the PITI is 21.95 and you're using a private money partner, a private lender at 90,000 down? Probably not. You could potentially structure it as a co-living and bring in a partner to bring that capital in, but you still need renovation expenses and stuff as well. So like off the bat, just by looking at that, it's not a deal that I'm like super excited for. I like low equity deals where I can get into the deal for less than $10,000. Like when that happens, I'm pretty excited. Okay. Okay, cool. So if you Jen, if you want to send me over the zip code, I can kind of look at what the rents are in that zip code, and based off of that, we can kind of see. But like off the bat, like with 90,000 down. Because the question is like, where is that 90,000 coming from and how are you paying it back? You know, and we need to pay them back over time. And let me share my screen. And so like, even if it's over 30 years, which, you know, this is a partner at this point where you're paying them an interest rate, plus I'd offer them some sort of upside on this equity as well, just to make it enticing for them. People don't want their money locked away for 30 years usually, unless they're a partner. And even at that, if we had 60,000 at 10% for 30 years, our monthly payment is still $526 per month to them. And then if it's 90,000, it's $800 a month, right? At that point, you have 3,000 PITI, and it's probably not going to cash flow as a rental depending on your market. And I also like love affordable housing. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next one. Sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen there. So 60,000, 10%, 526 a month in payment there. And at that point, they are a partner. So like what we've done in the past, we brought private money partners in and we give them a percentage of upside as well. So whenever that family sells or refinances, they'll get an additional payday. That way they have that 10% coming in every single year. And also they would have the upside as well. Cool. Okay. On to the next one if there's no more questions. Cool. Yeah, Wiley, feel free to chime in if you have any deals you wanna look at. All right. So I could email this guy an offer too. Like if I did a quick pen and paper email, I would send it to him. I'm not spending a bunch of time like writing up very immersive offers for agents who have like a 40% interest, you know? So I just want to send him over, hey, this is around what our offer would be. If it makes sense, awesome. If not, totally fine. Send it to him, put it on my spreadsheet to have a follow-up date. So do a follow-up in 1 week and just follow up forever until that property is sold, because people get more motivated over time. Okay. Okay, cool. On to the next one. All right, this one looks pretty underwater. Let's see if it's a short sale. Do some housekeeping. All right. Does not look like a short sale. 89 days on market. Jenna Kitchen. Let's throw her in the spreadsheet. And once again, before I'm even thinking too much, I see mortgage balance is 227. They're asking for 197. So maybe that's not accurate. So there's 2 open mortgages. Maybe they have a second mortgage on there. So my next step is just to call them. Oops. Let me grab her phone number, not the address. Hello, is this Jenna? Hello? Oh, we lost her.
Hi, you've reached Jenna Kitchen. I'm either with a client or away from my phone. For a fastest response, please text me at 816-665-4619. If you choose to leave a voicemail, please allow 24-hour response time. Thank you and have a good day.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept it.
All right, Jenna's busy. So I'll send her a quick text. We'll add in that text. Hey, Jenna, just called about your property on, let's get that street, 32nd Terrace. Was interested in seeing if it was available. Cool, super simple message. I can throw her on here, no answer, texted. And then we can check in and follow up. So we'll keep going and doing a few more of these. Feel free to throw more deals inside. But like the general idea is, like, if you keep doing this and you get really good at structuring creative deals, like there's gold everywhere. Like each week I do this, I'm talking to you guys, I'm thinking it out, I'm explaining it, like, and we're doing brain exercises as we go through this. But if you tune in the craft of creative structuring, like there's gold everywhere on the market right now. If you just learn how to do sub 2, how to think about, you know, different ways you can structure deals. And this is, for me, the funnest part of real estate. Like as an entrepreneur, as a real estate investor, I want to spend as much time as I can in this seat of strategic problem solving. Like this is a seat I want to be in. And if I can get really good in this seat, I can do this for single family houses. My whole thing's wraps and lease options, build $10,000 a month in passive income from wraps. After that, start looking at bigger asset classes, because all of it's going to be playing around with numbers and seeing how you can make things work. Because you're a cook in the kitchen, and in this kitchen, you have all these ingredients, and it's up to you how you put them all together. And then we just get to talk to people and do our best to be of service. All right, let's do one more. And last week, yeah, and I'll start following up some of these agents also, because like last week we spoke to Mackenzie on Wayne Avenue. I just need to email her for information. And then she was down to get on a call with the seller and her together to go over a potential offer. So maybe next week I can line something up where we get on a Zoom call with that seller also. I'm not sure how to structure that on StreamYard, but something like that could be fun also, because, you know, she was open and she's somebody that got a ton of people reaching out to her about creative. No, we're not doing creative. No, we're not doing creative. And then we just get to go in a little bit deeper, you know, like why, like what's your thoughts on creative? Have you ever done a creative deal? What's the reason they don't want to do it? What other options do they have? You know, because a lot of these people, like they don't have other options. This is 195 days on market. Like this person, like if they had other options, they would have done these other options already. Okay, let's call them. Annie Elkins. Sounds like it could be an old school realtor. New HVAC. Fresh sod.
Hey, you've reached Annie Elkins, your trusted realtor, brokered by eXp Realty. I'm sorry.
You've pressed an incorrect.
Okay. For sake of time, I won't do everything. I'll send her a quick text. Okay. Hey, Annie. Calling about your property on East 99th Terrace. Cool. On to the next. I can add it in my spreadsheet and have it as a property I want to call back. And then once you get into the idea of Morby methods, you know, when I was doing wholesaling, I had so many opportunities for Morby methods, but I didn't know how to structure that. Does everyone here know what a Morby method is or a stack method? Because that's a really cool way to structure deals. The way I had so many things, so many opportunities where people were willing to finance 100,000 or 50,000, but not the whole thing. And the stack method is a really good way to go about doing that. All right, let's see if we can get one more good call in. This one is not showing on market at all. On to the next. This potential 7% interest rate. And then if you do like an LOI blaster, yeah, I'm having some issues with, I'm going to change my prop stream. This looks like it's sold already. If you're using an LOI blaster, that can just like crank up this, because once again, like, as investors, I want to be talking to motivated people. So that's why like you guys can bring me deals, just give me someone to call and I'll just call them. Or we can also scout for deals, but you know, it just takes a little bit more time. But once again, you spend a few hours a day doing this over and over again, like you're gonna find people and make offers. Like the biggest KPI we're measuring always is offers made. We want to make as many offers as possible and follow up with them until the property is sold. Okay, so let's go to my. Yeah, we're running out of time a little bit. So if anyone has any final people for me to talk to, you can do MLS keywords also. On market for sale. I'm not sure why it's not working properly. Okay. Estimated equity is pretty low. Okay, let's open it up for some questions here. All right, cool. Money Magnet has a deal. Okay, awesome. I'll look at that in a second. Okay, so Jenna, let's look at yours really quick. So this is 85326. So let's go into Rentometer. 85326. Buckeye, Arizona. I believe he said it was a 4-bed, 3-bath, if I'm not mistaken. 1,900 of market rent. So you can kind of see where you are, right? If you had a straight sub 2, potentially you could figure out a way to make this work. It's a little bit outside the affordable housing zone. 6.8% interest. Not a whole lot of equity, it looks like. PITI is too high, 90,000 down. These are too many red X's. Right? If I have too many red X's, I don't want to waste my time. All right. Oh, someone's calling in. Hello.
Hi, my name is Annie Elkins.
Hey, Annie, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing, amazing. I was calling by your house on East 99th.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a few questions about it. Okay, let me pull up the photos again. Okay, there we are. Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a handful of questions. One is,
Okay.
is there
And
anything?
what's your name? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, my name's Philip.
Okay, nice to meet you, Philip.
Yes, ma'am. You too. You too. Okay, so is there any major issues with the property?
No, there's just some trim work that's needing to be done in the front half of the room.
Okay, and then the basement's not finished?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, cool.
There is some cracking in the garage, in the garage flooring, but that foundation was poured separately than the house.
Gotcha. Okay, so no serious foundation issues?
No,
Okay. Okay, cool.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested in the property. We actually buy a lot in Kansas City. I have about 60 some houses in Kansas City, and we like this area. Yeah, I see it's been sitting for a while, so I'm curious what's going on with it.
So essentially, the seller just has a set dollar amount that they need to walk away with, and then just with the trim work, a lot of people just aren't really wanting to fix up the trim work because a lot of the people are first-time home buyers looking. So they're just not really interested in having to redo the trim whenever they move in.
Gotcha. Okay, is there a pretty significant mortgage on it? Is that why you guys aren't lowering the price anymore?
Basically, we're just trying to make sure that she can walk away with everything
Gotcha.
that she needs.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, I like the area. I'm an investor, so I'm not scared of like work that needs to be done. I'm sure you've had like a million people offer you different creative deal structurings. What's the reason you haven't gone with any of those options?
So there is a couple options that she is kind of exploring and looking into. But really she just, she bought the property with her ex now at the time they were together, and they were remodeling, and she just really wants to just step away from it. A lot of people are offering, if they default, it goes back to the seller, and she just wants to be kind of clear of the property.
Gotcha. Okay. So have you ever done any creative deals before as an agent?
I don't believe so. You said what kind of deals?
Like creative, like taking over the mortgage or things like that?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Okay. That's the way we bought a lot, and like especially in these types of markets. And yeah, so it sounds like her and her former partner are both on the mortgage.
Yes.
And she just wants to cut the cord and not have to be thinking about the property anymore.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, it's been on market for a long time. Like, do you think what happens if you guys, it doesn't move? It's been like 200 days.
So we are in the process of trying to discuss some options that have been presented to us here recently.
Okay.
So she's kind of just looking through her options at this point in time.
Gotcha. Okay. What kind of options have been the most interesting to her?
Really, she just wants to be able to a fast close. So just good terms and a fast close is what's going to be most interesting, most enticing to her.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd be interested in taking over the mortgage if she's open to that. And I could also, I'm also happy to talk to her before we did that. We bought houses a lot in that way. And we also have a decent portfolio in Kansas City. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if she's open to considering that, I would love to make an offer as well and see if we can be the best fit.
Yeah. There's some sort of like form that you're able or offer you can structure and send over to us, just letting us know like what all you're looking to include in your offer?
So how familiar are you with like someone taking over someone else's mortgage?
Somewhat unfamiliar.
Okay. So there's a way to buy, like back in the 1980s, this was done all the time. And in shifting markets, it's a way that's very popular for buying right now. It's basically taking over. It's not assuming the mortgage, but the mortgage would stay in her name, but we would take over those payments. Right.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So we have explored those options. which she's not really interested in, just because she just wants to be completely cleared of the property.
Okay. Okay. But if you mentioned she was also considering some other options. What other options is she looking into right now?
So there's, just some other options as far as what is the lowest, what she can walk away with to be able to sell the property, and we can list it at this price.
Gotcha. Do you know what her mortgage is? Are you able to share that information?
I am not.
Okay. I mean, based off of the information on her mortgage, that would determine what we'd be able to offer. Because yeah, I mean, if you can sell it for cash and she can walk away from it and still get enough out of it, that could definitely be her best option. But I mean, it sounds like she might be a little bit underwater, just not have enough equity. And if that's the case, like we know how to take over the mortgages. We've done it a bunch, and we can probably get her some cash in her pocket and also get you paid.
Gotcha. So you guys would still just be taking over the mortgage for her?
Yeah, because if we did a cash offer, it just wouldn't. We're investors, so it just wouldn't make sense, that we wouldn't be your buyer if that was the case.
No, I totally understand. Yeah, if you want to type up or email over a offer, kind of just what you guys are able to do, I'm happy to relay that information to her and see if that's something she's interested in.
Okay, and you've already relayed similar offers to her before?
I'm sorry?
You've already relayed similar offers to her before?
Correct.
Okay, and what was her thoughts?
I'm sorry?
What were her thoughts?
Essentially, she's not wanting any sort of like loan assumption. She is really just wanting to sell the property and then just move forward. So really, she's just wanting. There's a couple of cash offers that she's entertained or she's thinking about considering, but she's just really wanting to just be clear of the property.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, where would she need to be to like be clear of the property, like cash wise, or can you tell me like your best offer so far?
I'm unable to at this point in time, just because of the agreement that we have. That's why I'm trying to answer all your questions the best I can.
Yeah,
I just
sure.
know that there's minimal information I can give out.
I totally understand. Okay, I mean, there's a few things I can do. Like one is I can connect you to an agent who's a friend of mine who he's done a lot of selling houses with like someone taking over the mortgage. And so just for your own education, because there's a lot of, I mean, I know right now there's a lot of properties sitting on market. And so if you have other properties sitting on market, it's a pretty decent solution when you have the right buyer. There's like we buy a lot of properties in this manner. So I'd be happy to maybe just connect you with my friend so he can at least explain it a little bit. And then also I would need to know how much her mortgage is and so on to make an actual offer about like what the numbers would look like, because at the end of the day, it's all creative financing, and it's based off of what her needs are is how I can structure the deal. And it also depends on what her mortgage is, what her monthly payments are.
Okay. And what is your investment team's name?
Our company name is KC Pro Home Buyers.
KC what?
Pro, PRO.
Buyers.
Home Buyers, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I can give you just like a blanket offer and then you can talk to her. But I really need that information to structure it further. And I get that there's a relationship thing going on, and ideally she can sell it. And if you guys have offers that make sense for cash, totally get it. But I think it's worthwhile at least having all of the offers on the table, because I can guarantee she would walk away with more money doing it our way than for what a cash offer would be.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to relay any information, and things always change, circumstances always change, thoughts always change. So it's always worth, bringing it to her attention, letting her know that this is a route. And I will also let her know that this is more of just a blanket offer. Then they'll kind of tailor their offer according to your situation and circumstances.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I've had property sitting on market before for flips, and I know how it gets after 30 days or 60 days. You really just want to be done with it, and 200 days is a long time. I'm sure it's also, as an agent, I'm sure you don't like having property sitting for that long either.
Right.
So, okay, how about this? I'll send you over just a basic email just breaking down the idea. And then from there, you can present it to her. And I'll think of it more as just planting seeds, right? We're planting a seed right now of possibility. And, you know, if she can't get the number that she wants from one of these cash buyers, then this is another opportunity that can work really well. As I mentioned, we're very established, and we can just plant the seed, and that can just keep following up. And then if it makes sense, it makes sense. If not, you know, we buy about 1 or 2 per month.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay. Any more questions for me?
I think that is all for right now.
Cool. Okay. Thank you so much for your openness and your time, Andy. It's been really great talking to you.
Thank you so much for reaching out.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So this is, okay. So this is a situation where the agent's not very educated, right? She's never done a deal like this before. And so the big thing with agents is that you have to get on the same team as the agent. Like for her, she's like, it's playing telephone. Like if you told me about subject 2 for the first time, I have no idea what it is. And like my whole life I was playing in one certain way, and he's told me a whole different way. It's going to be her communicating that to this lady is going to be like lost in communication. So once again, like the gold is always in the follow-up. It's always like plant the seed, follow up, plant the seed. So I'll send her an email, say, hey, this is the general idea. If you have a pamphlet or something to send, like the breakdown of sub 2. I have friends who are agents who do this a lot. I'll just be like, hey, can you hop on a quick call with this agent and explain to her what this is? Usually they're down to do that. So stuff like that, where it's like breaking through the layers of resistance. Because at the end of the day, like 200 days on market, like that agent wants that property to be sold as much as that seller wants that property to be sold. The agent's dealing with this person, like asking them questions all the time. The property's probably vacant. I should have asked her if the property's vacant or if they're living there. And I could have uncovered more layers of motivation before I went into the mechanics, which I probably should have. So gathering that information, planting a seed, following up, giving an offer, following up. If you do this over and over again, do this for a few hours a day, consistently do this, like you're going to get deals for sure. Okay. I know Money Magnet had another one nice deal to look at. And then, yeah, so the search criteria on propstream was on market houses, less than 10% equity, more than 50 days on market. Sale price was under 250,000. And the 250 can be market dependent, but like I like the lower price properties just because the cash on cash and the rent rates versus the value is really favorable for investors. Okay. All right, cool. What else? That's pretty much it. On market, low equity, higher days on market, affordable housing. All right, let's look at this final deal, and then I'm gonna have to pop off here. If you guys are enjoying this, subscribe to my YouTube, hop into my school. And then if you want to do like more wraps, lease options, like hit me up. Like we help people to do a bunch of these deals. Okay. So 167,000 mortgage balance, 147,000 total entry, 20,000 plus closing costs and TC fee, assignment 12K, cash to seller 8K, closing costs 5,000. PITI is 1145, principal is 311, interest is 352. Okay, rent is, yeah, cool. I like this deal. Off the bat, I'd say, yeah, I definitely like this deal. What zip code is this? Yeah, and everyone asking about the stack method. Like the stack method it's a different way to structure it. Where basically, when you buy a property, like for example, like when we were doing this for a while, where we would buy properties like on market for cash, and we'd buy it with hard money, renovate, and then refinance into a DSCR loan. So with a DSCR loan, if the property is in good enough condition, like that one property we looked at where it was just a little bit messy, that property we could have bought out the DSCR off the bat, and we'd have to bring 20% down. So if you can get that seller, the one who's selling to you, to finance your down payment, you can now get into properties for $0 in. And that's the idea of the stack method. Okay. Morby method. Okay. I have a deal in the chat. 47304. Let me share my screen. All right. Thanks for all the troopers who are hanging out to the end. And we're going a little bit over time here. All right, 47304. So it's in a place called Muncie, outside of Indianapolis. So let's do some. Oops, not. It's Indiana. Okay, Muncie, Indiana, population. So it's a little bit smaller of a place. Because I'm not sure if you live there or if you don't live there. If you live there, it's fine. If you're not living there, if you're doing it remotely, I like to be in slightly larger markets. But if you're, see how far it is from Indianapolis. It's about an hour or so. Yeah, it's okay. It's a little bit smaller than I like, but it's, especially if you live there, you can definitely make these deals work. So just like a few things off the bat, what we're looking at is the market rents is 1619 for Rentometer, and your PITI is 1145. So like off the bat, like it works as a rental, right? Someone would probably pay the 20,000 entry fee and just do it as a traditional rental, because then they get to write off depreciation and appreciation and so on. If you want to do it as a lease option or a wrap, I don't know if I have time to do like a full analysis of it right now, but like the numbers would be even better as a lease option or a wrap. So like the answer is like, yes, this deal would work. If you want to go over this further, like shoot me a message on Facebook or school and we can look at it together. I'm about to say off the bat, like this is the type of deal that I would love to wrap or do on the lease option. Everything about it, I really like. The entry fee is manageable. The interest rate's really good. The PITI is amazing. So this is definitely a workable deal. And if you message me, if you join my school, if you're not already in there, just message me and we can talk about that deal there. But like off the bat, yes, that's a green light deal for sure. Yeah, it would work as a lease option. Just message me, we can cruise over it. Okay, cool. So we went a little bit over time, but thank you all for okay, cool. Jose Diaz. Okay, cool. Thank you guys all for coming out. I hope that's beneficial. Let me know how these calls are for you. Let me know what other things you want to cover during these calls. I love deal structuring, so bring me deals to play around with and structure. We can structure them together. I'm also happy continuing to do a few more weeks where we do the agent outreach, because I think there's a lot of gold into seeing how you handle these conversations. Because, for example, when I first started, no one knew what subject to was. So the challenge was, it wasn't that they were getting too many offers. The challenge was that they didn't know what it was. And they're just like the last lady that we spoke to. And then she had to go communicate that. And it's like, how do I get through that barrier? Because if she doesn't understand, what this type of deal is, then how is she going to explain that? Like now that like everyone's making subject to creative finance offers to a bunch of agents, I love that. I can just scorch the earth around me and make myself look like the best possible option and make myself stand out from the rest. As you saw, we talked to 3 agents, and like of those 3 agents, 2 of those deals I would make offers on. And I wouldn't expect to get the yes off the bat. I would keep following up and keep continuing talking to them, because the motivations continue escalating. You have vacant properties, you're paying for debt servicing, you need to mow the lawn, you're living in a different house. All these things make you more and more motivated over time. And for the last lady, she has she wants to cut that energetic cord of a former partner, right? Which I totally get. And we bought houses like this where we had to structure it in a way where we had to talk to the wife and the ex-husband separately and get them both to agree. And so we've done it before. It's a thing that can definitely be done. But the hurdle there is working with that agent and getting her to understand. So thank you all for coming out. We do these every single Wednesday. Tell your friends. If you enjoyed this, post about it, tag me in it. All of that I appreciate. The more people I have in here, the more excited I get to do more of these calls. So share with friends. Let me know how I can best serve. If there are things that you want to do in these calls as well. Every week we do something different. We're currently in a month-long dive into talking to sellers and talking to agents. But at the end of the day, the goal is learning how to structure these deals, learning how to structure lease options, learning how to structure wraps, and also just learning how to get deals under contract. Because it starts with get the deal under contract, get the deal sold, and then it's like, let's do lease options and wraps, because that's how we create passive residual income. And every deal is $500 to $400 to $1,000 a month in cash flow. And those types of deals, like you're just lifting a weight off of you of like needing to make money in the future. And so thank you all. I'll see you all next week. I'll see you in school. And yeah, give me a shout out if you enjoyed this.